A good guy with a gun stopped a bad guy with a fake gun? What happened down there in Houston over the weekend? Well, it's a video that made the rounds on a couple of different places, and I've seen the video a few different times, and I can see it from both perspectives. Was this self-defense, or was this a well-intended robbery prevention that could be prosecuted as a murder? Well, and also happened in Texas, and we've seen a couple of different more hairy situations, especially involving, what was that, Chad Reed, the porch shooting and all that stuff, and ultimately charges weren't laid in that one, so I don't know if it's a different district, a different county and all that stuff, and ultimately that could be clouding my decision-making on this, but we'll take a look at the video right here and see exactly what we can glean from it. My initial take on this is, it was a good shoot, and guess what? In Texas, if you fuck around, guess what? You're gonna find out. So, moment customer shoots and kills robber who held up Houston restaurant with a fake gun. Cops search for vigilante who fired 8 bullets into a thief's back and 1 execution style into his head. Yeah, this is where it gets a little bit funny, okay? Because I didn't see... I don't know, did he fire that many? Because I haven't watched it with, sound on, or I don't even know if there was a situation where the sound was on, but the fact that stupid Daily Mail is trying to characterize this as, oh, a vigilante. No, this dude was carrying himself like he had a firearm. He was running around trying to steal different things from different people, and actually we'll just let the video speak on this. So there's a reasonable degree of certainty that somebody's life was in danger, and guess what? At that point in time, justified to use force? We'll see. Customer fatally shot a robber in the head after he held up a Texas restaurant with a fake gun. But there was no reason to believe, like, this wasn't a Nerf gun. This wasn't no fucking water gun or anything like that with a big old jug on the top. It looked like a handgun from anybody's conceivable perception, okay? Anybody looking at that situation would have thought that, yeah, that guy's got a Glock. He is dangerous. He's waving it around. He's acting a fool. Fuck around, find out. Okay, the robber, believed to be in his 20s. Well, you could probably check. He's fucking dead. Entered Ranchido for Taquiera in the southwest Houston on Thursday night, wearing a black ski mask and gloves before ambushing 10 customers and demanding their money at gunpoint. Yep. Footage shows the shouting man wave what he believed to be a pistol around the restaurant while customers drop to the ground and hand over their belongings. Except for Chad sitting in the booth where he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to wait for a second, and then surprise, motherfucker, when he goes to the corner. There's some things that we can think about here in a second, but we'll watch the video at least once, okay? He fired 9 times. Holy shit. One of which was in the head, causing him to collapse to the ground. The customer, wearing a gray t-shirt and jeans, and collected the stolen money and cell phones and started handing it back to the people that were taken from. Fucking based. Hopefully somebody covered this guy's bill, okay, and that, the place isn't, searching for, a jump tab. Police have not filed any charges and want to speak to the customer in the clip just to dab him up and give him, like an honorary deputy status, okay? But we got the video because we got screenshots and all that shit, but I just want to watch this. I don't need any sound or anything like that because, as you can see, oh, fucking Daily Mail, why do you got to throw up your stupid watermark on top, okay? But, yeah, we could... Actually, yeah, this will help, okay, because now I can slow it down and talk about it at the time, okay, because this guy, I don't know if he's sitting in the corner, because that's where everything begins, so maybe he enters, yeah, because you can see the door just open up, maybe you can, maybe you can't, okay, no, but he pulls out what looks like a firearm. You can kind of tell, yeah, you can see it right there. There's no reason to believe that that has like an orange tip or anything like that, that it's a Nerf gun, a dart gun, a crossbow or anything like that, that it is magged up. He is ready to go. He's asking for people's, money, belongings. People are getting on the ground right there. There's reason to believe that, yeah, the firearm is present and that somebody is going to get fucked around with if they don't comply. So he goes from place to place. And now it looks like, it's about to jump ahead. Okay. And you're going to be taking a look at the white guy who's sitting down facing him currently. Okay. They look like they're about 5 feet across from one another. Not the guy in the hoodie on the other side of the booth right there, but the white guy. He's going to be the last person our little would-be robber there ever lays eyes on. Okay, so yeah, and then he moves to whatever, stupidly, okay, he moves to the people that are lying underneath the table, okay, so easy prey. But it's weird how, okay, yeah, just going back a little bit, like, I don't know if he runs the pockets the way that the close camera footage just decides to, cut from the guy that our quote-unquote vigilante is across the across a booth from doesn't run his pockets or anything like that. So if he would have just stayed 10 toes down, it looks like, yeah, the guy over there in the far corner booth has his hands up. Meanwhile, you got the other guy who's just got his hands on on the table, but he also looks like he's reaching in his pocket for something else. So is that guy strapped as well? But as you can see, yeah, he moves back towards the other table with the people that are on the ground. Okay, oh, just throw the shit on the ground, man. Just pass it over, man. And then he starts to run. Okay, it looks like he's going to be going behind the counter and whatever. But then he goes. This is where it gets interesting because, yep, there you can see. He might, the robber might have a fake gun, but our guy right there has a real motherfucker right there, and he decides to plug about 8 in them. And then, okay, now they're just going to zoom in for dramatics and whatever. But yeah, I guess we can let it play out. But it's really tough to say, man. It's really tough to say because the video that I see, the robber continues to go towards the door. I don't know, man. If he's running everybody's pockets, if he's causing a ruckus right there, is he going to lock the door and try to leave through the back? Or is he just going to be trying to leave as well? That's where the questions of, is this self-defense? Because obviously, our good shooter right there, his life was theoretically in danger because he has no reason to believe that that is a fake gun. He is purporting to have a gun, have a firearm. He's presenting that way. So there's reason to believe that his life is in danger. He feels a certain way, and this is one of the few times where actually feeling and feelings can be used to justify a shooting, okay? And just like old Chad Chatterson right there, never fuck around with an old guy with a bald head and a firearm, okay? They know what the fuck they're doing. But yeah, he plugs him, okay? He plugs him once, I see, okay? I can describe the video that I seen. Playing that video in particular because there's at least no violence in this situation, but the other one, he starts to get shot, okay? So yeah, as he continues to walk away, it's not that long afterwards that he starts plugging him, okay? He shoots him a few different times. Now, it says that he hits him in the head or something like that, okay? One of them ends up in the head. He shoots him center mass, which is good shooting technique, okay? Does he put the other guy on the other side of the restaurant at risk? You could argue that as well if that guy's going to be pressing charges in any form or fashion, or if the police are going to be pursuing those as well. Okay, like you could make that argument, but it doesn't really look like anybody's going to. He then fled the scene in a dusty pickup. Oh, okay. Around 11:30 p.m. on Friday, January 5th, along with other customers in the Tanquiera on South Gesner Road, talking about the good guy with the gun. Investigators say that they want to track down the pictured man for his role in the shooting, and that no charges have been filed yet. The identity of the robber had not been released, but police believe the gun he may have been waving around the restaurant may have been a plastic BB gun. Yeah, should have came packing though if you wanted to commit fucking armed robbery, you idiot, because that's ultimately what you would have been fucking charged with. HPD homicide division sergeants are like, yeah, we'll get around to it when we do. So Sergeants Arrington, Duncan, and Detectives Overstreet and Lovelace said in a report, officers were dispatched to the shooting at a restaurant at the above address and observed an unknown black male in all black clothing, a black ski mask, black gloves, grape soda, and, oh, I'm sorry, I might have added one of those in there, had been shot multiple times inside the business, and nobody really seemed to care. Paramedics pronounced him deceased. Round of applause for that. Good shooting, Tex. Witnesses told officers the suspect entered the restaurant and pointed a pistol at the patrons as he demanded their money. As the suspect collected money from the patrons, one of the patrons, described as white or Hispanic male, produced the gun of his own and shot the suspect multiple times. The shooter collected the stolen money from the suspects and returned the money to the other patrons. What a fucking good dude. He's not like, hey man, I'm getting after myself right here, okay? This is the tax for keeping all you motherfuckers alive. He returned it to the other victims. Patrons then fled the scene. This is like, my job is done here. Left a tip on the table and then just fucking bounced. Oh yeah, that's, man, like it gets interesting, okay? So self-defense or excessive force. I would say self-defense or second-degree murder. That's theoretically what he could be charged with because there was nothing premeditated about this. You could argue that, yeah, he knew that he was strapped, but at the same time, there's reasonable degree of belief that he was in fear for his life. So I would say second-degree murder would be the most intense charge that could be laid at him. In Texas, people are allowed to use fatal force for what they believe is life believe their life or another party's life is in imminent danger. Yes. Okay, so far, so good. We can put a check next to that box. Experts say the Texas law also outlines specific incidents for aggravated robbery where deadly force is completely justified. And there you have it right there. I would say that covers just about everything. In this case, where the person he shot was in the process of committing an armed robbery, the customer's use of deadly force in self-defense is allowed. Yes, because he was or could have been a prospective victim in this situation. And again, if somebody's waving around what you reasonably perceive as being a deadly weapon, a gun, okay, for all intents and purposes, that was a gun. It'd be the exact same thing with a knife, a machete, spear, anything that he wanted to use. Could have been using any of that stuff that was there. And he would have complete and total justification. He would also reasonably been in fear of serious bodily injury or death, believing the robber had a gun. All checks out. All checks out. The defense can be used as a defense self-defense can be presented as a defense in homicide. Okay, if it is illegal to kill someone in self-defense in Texas, if you reasonably believe there is imminent danger of you or someone else being seriously injured or killed, as long as he maintains that defense when the police ultimately question him. Did you fear for your life? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Yes, I did, and I felt for the life. I thought the lives of everybody else inside the diner were also at risk. Check fucking mark. Your use of deadly force was necessary and appropriate at the time you used it. You could also justify it, but then at the same time, you could make the argument that he was leaving, but he was still armed. Man, like I said, that's where it gets tough, and it depends on who could ultimately be laying the charges, because it kind of looked like he was leaving, but then you could have argued, depending on the conversations that were either happening back and forth, he wasn't quite done running everybody's pockets. Pedro Lopez, owner of the Tanquera, said he and his employees are still in shock. He told ABC 13, everyone was scared, nervous. I was too. Some customers were seated here, others over there. He go to the money and he was going to leave. You never know what was going to happen. Yeah, he was going to leave. Interesting. Cops have also released an image of the vehicle of the man who killed the robber and fled the scene. A good man driving an old Ford F-100. Holy, that's an old motherfucker right there. That's like a 74, 73 gimmick. Holy, that shit is old as a motherfucker. I know, because they're common in some of the smaller towns around here. So just, I don't know the guy. I've never been to Houston. 70s or 80s model pickup truck. It says Ford on the front. It's a Ford F-100. Like, just stop it. We know. Experts believe the customer will most likely not face charges. Yeah, exactly. This would be one of those situations where the police are like, you did a good job right there. Okay, yeah, we'll just run this through. We'll just get your name, and you know what? We'll just, where can we send the plaque? Former Houston police officer, now lawyer, Thomas Nixon. So this guy would know from two different perspectives. He's like, should have pulled a strap earlier, man. The person he shot was in the process of committing robbery, and subsequently his use of force in defense of himself and the innocent third parties is completely justified in Texas. Fucking based. He was reasonably in fear of serious bodily injury or death. Nathan Beadle, with the Harris County District Attorney's Office, believes that the shooting was justified. Okay, well there, man, that's weird, because there was a big weight that was lifted off my shoulders right there, because here I was, talking out my ass and just, trying to do some armchair prosecuting, but then you got somebody from inside the DA's office like, everything seems to be on the up and up, unless, of course, you can establish some sort of prior history right there. Somebody had a beef, and then he just decided to exercise on it, okay? He was looking to add some additional pounds in the back of his pickup truck, but, didn't end up shaking out that way. I can point to you exactly in the law, 931 and 932 of the Penal Code. And he's like, it's all good, man. Don't worry about it. Whether someone uses deadly force in the situation that is presumed to be correct under Texas law. Texas has some of the most permissive gun laws in the United States. Yeah, buddy. And non-residents over the age of 21 are allowed to carry a handgun, either openly or concealed in most places in the state. Yes, open and concealed carry. Delicious. In September 2021, Texas does not need a permit to open carry a handgun in the state. Fucking based. There's the place right there. Ranchito number 4. Looks like a high-end establishment. Probably has fucking great Mexican food, if we're going to be completely honest, because it never looks like a nice place like that. It's always some fucking hole-in-the-wall strip mall joint that has the best local ethnic cuisine. Same thing shakes out for Chinese food and all that stuff as well. You know it as well as I do. Stop it. What are the open carry laws in Texas? Like, can this guy face any gun charges? Nope. Beginning on September 1st of 2021, a law known as HB 1927 made it legal in Texas for most people 21 or over to carry a handgun in a holster without a permit, both openly and concealed. It sure seems like he was in a holster, okay? Like he was reaching into a holster. He wasn't reaching into, his fucking waistband or anything like that. Law changed the previous open carry law from 2016 by eliminating the requirement to have a license to carry. So as long as he wasn't a felon, everything's copacetic. That means most people over the age of 21 who have not committed previous felonies may carry a handgun without a license to carry in the southern state. Governor Greg Abbott heralded the new constitutional carry legislation at the time, saying, "You could say that I signed a law today that's some laws that protect gun rights, but today I signed a document that instilled freedoms in the Lone Star State." And yes, definitely gave a resounding repudiation that, that's not true, okay? A good guy with a gun doesn't always stop a bad guy with a gun. Well, here you have the sterling example to the contrary of that. So that should shut those motherfuckers up for at least a second. So, with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.